49 человек.
49
человек пришло.
Отлично. That's perfect. That's really, really perfect.
Только давай сейчас все-таки запустим, чтобы у нас все работало. I think it works. Я думаю, слушай, работает нормально, грузится и... Yeah, so finally everything is alright. Yeah, it's alright now.
The title.
Stream is being checked.
Playing Darkest Dungeon. Not something else.
Hearthstone, Heroes of Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah.
I wonder how this one will look.
So, I guess we'll start here. Daniel, is everything fine?
Yep, everything is nice, running nice.
Perfect. Okay, so let's turn our tides. Let's start, I guess. Let's start our interview with Mr. Wayne June.
Hello.
Hello everyone, hello Twitch. Can you see us? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. I lost my picture, but I'm going to fool around and see if I can find it again.
No, everything's fine. Like, your webcam is good, everything is good, picture is good.
Okay, there it is. Yep.
So let's start, I guess. Let's start our interview. And Daniel?
We would like to thank you for coming. That's a really big thing for us.
Well, thank you for asking. It's a very nice thing. I've been getting a lot of attention from Darkest Dungeon, and it makes me feel good that people like the game.
It makes us good that you come here. We are really honored, I guess.
Yeah, we actually we would like to see more of you. You know, like voicing other games, voicing films, books, everything you could. Your voice is just perfect, sir.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I try hard.
Well, so let's come to our first things. Let's ask something about your past, I guess. What was your story about becoming a voice actor? How did you choose this profession, and why?
Well, I didn't really get involved in it until about the year 2000, about 1999, 2000. Before that, ever since I was 15 years old, I was a musician. I play drums, I sing, I was in rock and roll bands and blues bands. So over the years, I found that I have to learn different kinds of music if I want to work all the time. So I started with rock and roll and blues, and then went on to learn about R&B, rhythm and blues, swing, jazz, funk, fusion, and basically learned it all. And over the years, just would work with whatever work was available. And in about the year 2000, I got involved with a blues artist named Johnny Winter, who was back in the 1970s. He was my hero. So, 30 years later, I get to be in his band. It was very exciting. We toured over most of Europe. We did tours with all over the United States, in Hawaii and Alaska, and it was just very fun playing big concerts. And I played on one of his records. And I had always been a fan of audiobooks. When I was a kid, I found in the library, a record, actually an LP of Frankenstein. So I said, "Oh, this is crazy!" I brought it home. I played it on the record player, and it was the story of Frankenstein read out loud acted. So I kind of liked that. And over the years, once we started getting cassettes, I would bring audiobooks to listen to when I was traveling on the road in the bus. And so I started to get the interest in it. Then I also thought, I have recording equipment at home. I like to read. I should try to make my own audiobooks. So I just did the research. I took some classes. I took acting classes. I took voiceover classes, and just gradually built up my business. I made a website, which is terribly out of date now.
Yeah,
but,
we can see it.
Yeah, but it did the trick to get me work. And I've done commercial voiceover commercials for television and radio and for websites and for podcasts, and started putting out audiobooks, and they sold well. So that's it. When I got off the road from music and stayed home in my own studio, now I just record audiobooks. And I got a call a year or so ago about the Darkest Dungeon project from Chris Bourassa from
Chris called it.
Studios.
It was
And that's basically how that all worked together.
Oh, that's cool. Have you tried maybe radio profession? Something like
this? That's more like a job. There's too much work. You go in, you punch a clock, you work 9 to 5, and plus I don't have a very good personality. You have to have a personality to be on the radio. I can read from a script. I can act, but I can't be, as you can see. I'm not very interesting all by myself. So give me something to read. I will read it.
You're actually very interesting by yourself, because you started from music and ended up by audiobooks. However, I think personality is the fact that determines the person who works on radio, because you have to be cheerful all the time. You have to be full of energy all the time, and probably sometimes it's just not for everybody.
Well, that's why I think audiobooks and now hopefully video games work good for me, because I'm always cranky. so I can always be the creepy, angry character. So that would be natural for me.
Ага. Игорь, у нас небольшая проблема. Уэйна немножко плохо видно, у него картинка заглючила на стриме. Справишь?
Окей, сейчас справим.
So right now we have just a minor difficulty with your webcam on stream. We'll fix it in just a second.
No problem.
Well, I think right now it's working. Well, yeah. Sometimes it just lags.
It works now. Yeah, it's
Cool.
working. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess the next thing is, what does it really take to become a voice actor? Like, what skills, maybe education and knowledge? Can anyone become a voice actor, or this is just, I don't know, maybe having a good voice, or you can, maybe determination and patience are the keys?
I think the second one. I think a good voice, it can help. It can also get in the way, because it's not about how good does your voice sound. The main thing is voiceover industry is a marketplace, like any other business. And if you're going to be trying to be a voiceover artist or a voice actor, you have to get in knowledge of what are the demands of that industry. And it's not what I thought it was going to be when I first got involved in it. I took some classes with a studio in New York City. They also have a studio near me in Connecticut, about what are the producers looking for today in voiceover. And it was an educational experience. So I would say to anyone, if they want to get into voiceover, don't worry about how you sound, the sound of your voice, because it's not about you, you know. And so in my case, it's not about me. It's about what does the industry want, and can I give that to them, or can I learn how to give that to them?
Okay.
One second, please. Игорь, у нас проблема, то, что с веб-камерой. Ребята предлагают просто сверни игру и разговаривай, потому что веб к ребятам очень тесно.
Окей, ладно. Хорошо. Sorry.
We're fixing cam again.
The cam, yeah.
No problem.
Sometimes it just doesn't work. Okay, right now I think it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, the next thing, Daniel, you wanted to say something?
1 second, please. Yeah. So we know that you have started with rock music and other types of music, and then you went on with voicing various books. But what was the first thing you have ever voiced or broadcasted?
Oh boy, let me see. I think the first thing that they actually did that was for someone else was actually a series of commercials for local television. We have a cable TV company not too far away from me, and I used to go to their studio. This was it was about 15 or 16 years ago. I would go to their studio and they would hand me the script and record it, and then that was fun because since I was new to it, I didn't know what to expect, and then I would go home and hear my voice on TV. So that was fun. That was exciting.
Yeah, very nice start, I may say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you've been working on voicing many audiobooks, but it seems like Lovecraft is one of the most popular authors you worked on. How did you discover his novels, and which one do you like the most?
Well, I've been a Lovecraft fan for practically my whole life. When I was very young, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, I would get my father's books, and he read science fiction books. He read, horror stories. He was very much into that part of entertainment, and I picked that up from him. So I read Lovecraft probably when I was 8 years old, and I maybe didn't understand it, but over the years, read him just for fun many times. I like a story of his that's called Cool Air. Are you familiar?
I guess not.
Yeah,
well, me neither.
Well, so, like, Lovecraft was, I don't know, maybe like childhood fairy tale? Something like this?
Well, sort of. That's a little crazy, but yeah. I would read his stories and get scared of hoping that Cthulhu was not going to call to me. But about I don't remember when this was. I guess it was about 2002, 2003. I have a friend who's an audiobook publisher that suggested I do some H.P. Lovecraft. So I was like, yes. He gave me the scripts, and we put out I think 6 volumes of H.P. Lovecraft, and I just since I've been reading him since I was a kid and liking that type of creepiness, I really enjoyed doing it, and it ended up being pretty popular. I guess probably H.P. Lovecraft is my favorite audio project. Matter of fact, I'm thinking of doing some in the future to do all of his things, to do the whole, all of his books in one audio book.
The dream.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'm hoping to do that. I have to see if there's a lot of people that are interested. if a lot of people would be interested, then I would do that. It would be, I think it would be a lot of fun. I love H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah.
Well,
Now
that-
that we know that you love him, we may guess that you really pretty enjoyed the ending of Darkest Dungeon.
Darkest Dungeon, I have to say, was so great. All I did was just read the words. They wrote the scripts. They came up with the concept for the game. They did the art, which is amazing. Then they got involved with another company, or got another company involved called Power Up Audio to do the sound design for it, and a composer to do the music. These guys just did it right from the very beginning. Matter of fact, that's how Chris Barassa from Red Hook Studios contacted me, because way back maybe 14 years ago, he heard some audiobooks that I did of H.P. Lovecraft, and he liked them. So here we are, 14 years later. He's going to do a video game concept that has kind of a Lovecraft type of theme, and then he says, "Who can we get to do a narrator?" Well, I'll ask Wayne, and he called me, and that's history. We got together. So H.P. Lovecraft, actually, I have to thank him for getting me involved with Red Studios.
Thank you, Mr. Lovecraft.
Yeah, thanks to Lovecraft. Well, that's really interesting. And what inspired you to create such an interesting character? The ancestor is like, he's unique. He's, I don't know, he's that thing that creates the atmosphere in this game. I don't know, maybe you made your own concept about him, like about his voice. And do you like the ancestor in general as a character? What do you think about him?
Well, first I read the script that Chris sent me, and that kind of gives you a feel as a voice actor. I imagine any kind of actor. You look at the script, and all the information you need about how to act and how to come across, and it's all there. But you have to know how to read between the lines. Then Chris also sent me some of his artwork, so I could see what the atmosphere of the game was going to be. And we talked about it before I did any of the recording, and he said, it's a Lovecraft type theme, so if you can give it that type of feeling of doom, and that feeling of hopelessness, and so, like I told you before, I think I'm just naturally cranky and creepy and negative, so so that helped a lot. And I recorded, maybe they would send me the script, and the script is made up of smaller sentences. So I would do one sentence, but maybe 3 different ways or 5 different ways, and then send that to them. And then they could sit back and put all the pieces together. Well, I like the way he said this one here, and I like number 2 better on this one, and gave them all the pieces to put together. So in short, the artwork, the concept, and then the script itself really told me everything I had to do to develop that character.
Well, that inspires me, I don't know, to make an interview with Chris also. Maybe to like a series, because, well, Chris is an interesting person too, because of his artwork and how did he create the game? How did he create
Oh,
it?
I know. He had a stream. I think it might have been on Twitch. He had a stream
Yes.
where he just was doing his artwork right from the beginning. He would start a character and draw the outline, and he was working, sharing his screen at the same time. And it was fascinating to watch him. He's such a great artist. And
I think I know what you're talking about. He was working on the new character, right?
I think so.
The antiquarian.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just as he was drawing it, he was explaining, well, his concept. You want to add a little bit of this, but not too much because then you go overboard. It makes it confusing. A little of this, a little, and he just described it from as he went on, and you could see him do it right in front of you. It was great.
Yeah, I know for sure that he avoids drawing eyes for the characters, so you would associate the character with yourself, and well, your mind will do the rest.
Yep.
Well,
The
yeah.
trick.
And have you played the game yourself? And how does it
Uh,
feel? How does it
not
feel?
yet. I've seen it streamed a couple of times. I've seen I don't know 5 or 6 different people playing it, so I wanted to get a head start to learn from their mistakes.
Well, yeah, that's
Looks like a very hard game, very frustrating.
that's a really good strategy you've chosen. Yeah. And how does it feel? You've seen them playing. How does it feels like to constantly hear yourself? Like
It's creepy. I hate my voice. You ever do that if you listen to recordings of your voice? It takes a very long time to get over that. But when I first had an answering machine at home on my telephone, I would record the message, "Thank you for calling, and please leave a message," and then I would play it back and, "Thank you for calling." Oh, that doesn't sound like me, does it? It's horrible. But no, it's cool. I like getting an idea of what it sounds like in the actual game itself. In that context, and hearing it from that point of view is really cool. Because when I was recording the scripts, I might have a piece of artwork in front of me to help the inspiration, but I had no idea what it was going to be like when it was all together. So that was interesting.
and
Igor, may I ask one thing, please?
okay, sorry.
No problem. So we have 2 questions from the chat. So the one guy asks you, how much were you inspired by Warhammer Fantasy?
By what?
Warhammer.
Warhammer. I've heard the name, and I've seen it, but I've never played it or never seen it played. So I guess 0.
Okay, then at least we know this one. Okay, and the one guy from the chat, he has nickname Dismas, and well, he wanted you to say something from the game, but instead we would like to ask you to say your your favorite phrase from the game.
Favorite quotes.
There are so many. I don't even know.
Try to pick at least 3 or 2 if you want.
I think I would have to cheat and actually look up the script, because there are so many lines there.
Like turning the tides, maybe.
Let me see. There was one line. I don't. If you tell me a line, I'll.
Well, yeah, well, like turning the tides, how quickly the tide turns, something like this. There were, I don't know, I think I remembered not all of them, but how quickly the tide turns. Well, that's remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious
killer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Forbidden size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
Yeah.
Yes, you're gonna steal my job.
Thank you, sir. That's rich coming from you.
Okay.
Okay, so, anything, Igor?
And if you, well, have you seen any of the classes? Maybe what is your favorite? I guess. Have you seen like classes from the game, like Highwayman, Bounty Hunter, Crusader? Which one do you like the most?
Well, before Darkest Dungeon, I was not very involved with video games at all. I wasn't aware. I've seen them in passing, but I never played really never played video games. And I was telling Igor before that it's an education for me because I just discovered Twitch. I just discovered that there's actually a community of people, a lot of people that play video games and that are into them, but I don't know anything about them. So I'll have to learn. I'm going to start with Darkest Dungeon to try to figure out, how to win that, and then maybe I can move on from there.
Okay, okay. And apart from working with Red Hook, what are your plans for the future? Maybe are you planning to continue working on video games, voice acting, or do you have any particular games that you would like, that you would consider voicing? I don't know.
Well, I hope to get involved with more video games in the future. It's very fun working with Red Hook, so I hope they have something for me in the future. We've been discussing perhaps doing an announcer pack for a game called Dota 2.
Yes, and
Yes.
that is another question I would like to ask about
and,
Dota 2, and
I've just done a little bit of research online to see what that is and what would be expected. So I have a lot to learn about it before we could go much further, but we have been talking about that. So
okay, so you recently started to learn about Dota 2. Okay, and knowing how different and well, I know how different your voice could be and how talented you are. I still want to ask this question: are you afraid of becoming the guy from the Darkest Dungeon, like of this
No.
cliche, of the stereotype?
no, that would be. That would be a compliment to me. Darkest Dungeon is something to be very proud of. They were very organized and very talented and very serious and professional. And if I have any association in people's minds with that game, that's a compliment to me. So, but
We just wanted to ask about this just because we have some examples nearby. For example, do you know David Hayter? Not really. Okay, so David Hayter is a person who voiced a character named Solid Snake or Naked Snake, or he named some characters. Voiced, sorry. So now he's very well known for his character, Solid Snake, and for some time he was worried about the fact that he would be remembered as a Solid Snake, and that's it. So no problem on your side, right?
no, I do a lot of different things, and it reaches different audiences. There are people that listen to some of the audiobooks I've done who are very different from the person who would be an audience for Darkest Dungeon. I've done sort of I guess instructional tapes, instructional recordings, how to fight anger, how to relax, how to lose weight. So some people know me as that, and that the anger one is funny because how to control your anger. You're asking the wrong person, but because. No, but if I'm associated with Darkest Dungeon in people's minds or some people's minds, that's nothing but a compliment to me. So,
Okay. Well, do you know any other voice characters, video game voice characters, like, I don't know, Nolan North, Dave Benoy, Alan McLean, John Patrick Lowry? They were from
Actors.
actors, yeah, voice actors. Maybe you're familiar with their works, or maybe you know them personally.
I don't. I'm just just starting to learn since Darkest Dungeon. Just starting to learn um, about the voice acting community that involves video games. So it's all, that part is all new to me, because you can do, there's a whole aspect of voice work which is um, just commercials, or uh, just just medical narration with all very uh, difficult to pronounce words and very technical type of language. That's one corner of it, and people tend to get involved in certain areas and become big and well known in those areas. So there's a lot of different voice communities. I know some people, but I mostly work in my home studio, so I don't know. The old days are gone where you go down to the studio or the agent's office and meet face to face. It's all, for me, it's all over the internet now. So I don't really meet that many people that are involved in the industry.
Well, so like this community of people voicing different stuff is sometimes like a business, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a whole aspect of it of what they call corporate narration, or corporate industrial narration, where you get scripts from a company that maybe they're explaining their policies to their employees, or maybe they're explaining their products to investors, or maybe they're just it doesn't go beyond the company. I did a whole series of videos for one company in particular that was telling about their product. The only place it was ever shown was in the company itself. So a lot of companies do that, and it's that's a big part of the business too. There's so many different places that voice actors are. I go to the store and I can hear the voice actors telling me about the specials in the store. There's TV, there's internet, there's radio, there's audiobooks, there's the corporate narration. There's everywhere you go. If you pay attention, you will hear somebody talking to you that's getting paid to talk.
Huh. Well, that sounds interesting. And
yeah.
Daniel.
Well, one person from the chat, Kai Kaus, says that you, I'm sorry, I don't really know this word. So the noun is advertisement, and the verb is to, could you please help me with English language?
What's wrong? What question?
Рекламировать, как будет? To advert or как?
Well, yeah, probably to promote.
To promote, yeah. So one guy says that you promoted wine. Is it true?
It's possible. I don't remember it all. I do scripts all day, every day, and I've been doing it for 15 years. So I don't remember everything I did. Maybe I did wine.
Tempting, yeah, tempting goblets then.
Yeah.
From the Darkest Dungeon.
Yep. Okay, so Igor, continue with your questions.
Okay, and well, there is also another question from the chat. How to start my way in voice acting career, and how to make a voice sound better? Asks someone from the chat.
Okay. I don't know what it is like where you live or in the Russian language, but I can tell you in the United States, you find it on the web. There are many studios that focus on voice acting and teach that, so you could take classes. But if there aren't classes specific to that available, you could do your own research. For example, if you decide what kind of voiceover do you want to do? Do you want to do commercials. Okay, pay attention to commercials, record them, and then record yourself trying to imitate them. And then you listen and you go, what's different? Is he better for that commercial? Did I do it better? Did I do it worse? Did I not speak clearly? Did I sound not interested? Did I sound not interesting? So you can analyze yourself. So there's a few things to overcome. One is getting a decent recording, which is easy these days with computer and recording technology. Very affordable, very easy to learn. Then find out what part of the market do you want to work in. Then learn what the industry wants from you for that part of that market. If you wanted to do audiobooks, listen to a lot of audiobooks. Find a favorite person that you hear that does audiobooks, and what is that person doing? Or if you wanted to get involved in video game voiceover, analyze what you hear from them. Be very familiar with what is already there, and then how can you contribute to that? I made the mistake of when I first started. I would just say I want to do commercials. I want to do webcasts. I want to do everything, and you can't be good at everything. You have to focus on 1, 2, 3, 4 things to begin with, and learn what the successful people are doing, and then learn how to do that. You can't just bring yourself to it. You have to learn what do they want, and can I learn that and give them what they want. So to make that short, I would say do research online to see if there are studios that teach you how to do that specifically. Take training. It's very important if you can find it. You can also, as I said, listen to commercials, listen to audiobooks, listen to people doing the voices that you want to do, and imitate. And then, of course, to use the internet, that's where you can find customers. That's where you can find an outlet for your talents once you've built them up and have the skills that are necessary.
Well, so basically, if I would like to be like you, I would need to listen to the ancestor quotes a lot and maybe to record myself in that thing. Well, I'll try. Thank you for your advice. And also thinking about Darkest Dungeon. Tomorrow will be a new huge update release in this game. And tomorrow Red Hook is going to add a new class, the Antiquarian. So, did you record anything for her? Because when you hire the hero from the stagecoach, there is a special quote about the hero, like hiring the highwayman. The ancestor says that he is evasive, persistent, and he has righteous traits for rogue. Or hiring a bounty hunter, it means that, I don't know, the thrill of the hunt, the promise of payment. And when we are talking about the Antiquarian, what is her quote? Is it a secret? Can you tell us?
She goes where no one has gone before, and she sees things no one else has seen.
Haha.
Oh, so she sees dead people?
So that's about all I know about her.
Okay. That's interesting.
Igor, can I ask something?
Yes.
Oh, actually, after your whole, explanation about how to become a voice actor, it actually sounds like a big business plan, and it reminds me of a very interesting person. I think of Billy Mays. I think you know Billy Mays, right?
I'm confused.
Mr. Wayne. Mr. Wayne, do you know such person as Billy Mays?
Billy Mays?
Right.
I'm sorry, no.
Can you explain?
Oh, well, as I know, Billy Mays was a very popular actor in the USA, who's capable of selling everything. You just Google Billy Mays, and you just see this person who just goes there and say, "Hi, I'm Billy Mays, and this thing cuts onions like everything and anything." I just it's just little comment on the fact that you have to
Ah,
specialize on
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Like this guy when he does like something like
So
this.
he's like everywhere.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, but he was good in his job, and it's very sad that he died in I think 2007. Yeah, he actually had a heart attack, I think. Yeah.
From the stress.
Okay, well,
That's a bad joke. Sorry.
yeah. Okay, and there is another question. Asks the chat asks you again. Well, have you ever read science fiction books? How do you like them? And have you ever read any books of from Russian authors such as Bulgakov?
I haven't had opportunity to do one by Russian author yet, but I just finished a science fiction book recently by an author by the name of Alastair Reynolds, and he wrote a science fiction novelette named Troika, and it has Russian characters in it. I was telling Igor before,
Yes.
I have to learn how to do my Russian accent and learn how to sound like I am from Russia. And I'm
Yes, this is not very hard, you know. You just have to, yeah, you just have to do all the Russian things.
and so I did that, and I hope people like that. I do like science fiction. I also have been reading science fiction, since I was a little kid. So I hope to be doing more of that. I did some interesting books by an author by the name of Jason Brandt, who he writes crazy fiction. It's hard to say. Is it science fiction? A little bit. Is it horror stories? A little bit. And all put together, it's very entertaining stuff. So if you like science fiction, if you like audiobooks in English language, find the books the audiobooks that I did by Jason Brandt. Very good stuff. It would keep you awake at night.
Thanks for advice. Okay, you can continue with your questions, please.
What have you been working on lately? Maybe some audiobooks, games. What things? Maybe right now. Currently. What are your projects right? Well, yeah.
What I'm working on now
Yeah.
is, matter of fact, a new one by Jason Brandt. Should be finished soon. That's called Madness. It's about an ex soldier who was injured in battle. He got a head wound. When he woke up, he could read other people's minds. So
Well,
how it affects him, it causes him suffering, and but he ends up being a good guy, and just a very interesting book. That's called Madness. Also, I've got a couple of other science fiction books and horror books for the future that will be coming out. And there's a website, I don't know if you're familiar, called audible.com.
Yep.
yep.
And that's where all my stuff ends up, because they distribute to Audible, they distribute to iTunes, they distribute to Amazon. So if anybody is interested, that's where to look. And if you can't find it, just email me, and I could point you to it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, that's cool. What would you like to say to your fans? Like, this is a very important question. What would you like to say them to Russian fans, to everyone? Just what would you like to say to the big community around the Darkest Dungeon?
What would I like to say?
Yeah.
I would say thank you. It was my first entrance into video games, so I've learned a lot about the community, about gaming in general, about uh, Twitch. I watch Twitch now. I find people doing different games and watch their streams, and and I'm learning a lot about it. So, uh, what I would say to the community is thank you for reaching out and accepting, the work that I contributed to it, and by all means, keep your eyes on Red Hook Studios, because I think their future is going to be very, very big in the gaming industry.
We hope so. We really do.
Maybe Darkest Dungeon 2, or maybe some expansions to the game, something like this.
You never know.
The Darkest Dungeon 3, the Darkest Dungeon of Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah. The Darkest...
Darkest Dungeon, behind Darkest Dungeon, in the Darkest Dungeon, behind in the Darkest Dungeon.
Or maybe a little bit less dark dungeon.
Oh, yeah.
Bright Dungeon?
Yeah.
The brightest dungeon?
Yeah, something like this. The dungeon full of hope and cuteness and everything.
Oh, that's me. That's me all.
Okay.
We actually have a lot of questions coming from chat, as I know that we have several questions planned, but there are also a lot of unplanned questions. So I would like to ask you something interesting. So one guy asks you, have you ever voiced books by Stephen King?
No, I hope I can someday. I think Stephen King is one of the great horror authors. Definitely has been a bright star in that genre. But I would have to say this: I have a favorite audiobook narrator. His name is Frank Muller, Muller, and by coincidence, he has done a lot of Stephen King books. So that's who you want to hear do Stephen King. He is so great.
Yes, sir.
I could never be him, but if I had the opportunity, I would try.
Thanks for the advice, sir. So another question: do you have a favorite, King book? Or Stephen King book? Yeah.
I liked Salem's Lot. That was the first Stephen King book I ever read, and it really grabbed me. It was strange because I've been reading science fiction ever since I was a kid, as I said, and sometimes they would make references in the stories or in the books that I didn't understand. If it was written in the 1940s or the 1950s, they would make references and just go over my head. I don't know what they're saying. But when I started reading Stephen King, he was the first science fiction author that I read that started to make cultural references to things that I knew about. So he would say, well, this character is in his car and he's driving and he turns on the radio and he hears he hears the Beatles. That now you're not talking about 1940s anymore. Now you're talking about my world. So he took my world and put vampires in it, and he kept me awake for a week.
Oh God!
So Salem's Lot. That's my favorite.
Yeah, that's really nice. And chat just desperately wants us to tell you that we really love you, and the chat loves you, and yeah, the community really loves you. You're awesome, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so another strange question probably. I won't ask that. It's about the elections in America. Probably not very interested in that.
You don't want to know.
Yeah.
I,
Ted
I
Cruz?
I have to keep that separate because if I say one thing, I lose half my audience.
Oh, I just get it. Okay, we won't ask
It works
that.
like this sometimes.
Okay, so we understand that you love Stephen King's books a lot, but what about King's numerous book ekranizations? What do you think about them?
Adaptations.
Adaptations, yeah,
Oh,
adaptations.
okay. I've seen a couple that are very good. Sometimes, well, a lot of times with adaptations, um, they miss the mark a little, but they're good on their own for what they are. For example, uh, well, on the other hand, they actually did a TV adaptation for Salem's Lot, which was very good. It's very true to the original. Um, but then, what what was the name of the movie with Jack Nicholson?
The Shining.
The Shining. Yeah, I kept thinking The Stand. No, it's not The Stand. The Shining. I thought it was good by itself, but
As a book?
it's
Not.
not as good as the book.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah,
Yeah, you just, sometimes the adaptation is worse, and that's actually okay because you have this expectation, because you have everything in your mind and you want the adaptation to be like the book, but
that's
instead
right.
you get something else and you're just like, well, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
Imagine the adaptation of Darkest Dungeon movie.
Why?
Everyone
Great.
just dies, and that's all.
That would be great. I would go see that movie.
Well, yeah, that will be interesting, and it will be actually interesting to see how 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 the style would be. I don't know how it will be, how it would look like, because it would be interesting. But I'm sure that this movie would involve you voice acting. That's for sure.
Or
Maybe,
It
you're,
better.
or
It
you
better.
maybe even acting.
yeah. So okay. Any more questions from the chat?
I'll try to find them. Just give me a second. Yeah, sir. Do you watch modern TV shows? Have you seen Buffy, Farscape, or Game of Thrones?
You know, a lot of people have asked me that, and no, I have not seen it. I've never seen Game of Thrones. My wife watches it. She says it's great, and I've never seen it. Are you Game of Thrones fans or watcher?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah. Everybody says it's good. Everybody says it's great, but I just have not seen it yet. So I guess you shamed me into it. I'll have to watch it and see for myself.
Well, I think that your voice, your ancestor voice, would actually fit in this atmosphere, and I don't know, this Game of Thrones universe. I guess. Well, some character like the ancestor, because the TV series are actually, the plot is complicated, and
Yeah.
I think such voice would be real nice to hear in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, there's actually a very interesting question. Well, you have read a lot of books and you have done a lot of things. And people ask, why won't you have you ever thought about trying to make up something of your own, maybe your own book, or your own story, for example?
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I've never tried, but it's a very different skill. Um, I can read the words, I can interpret the words, I can do the actions, but to make up a story or to write a novel or a screenplay or a video game concept, or that's it's a different skill. I don't know if I would be good or not. Maybe I'll try it someday, but I think it would be very hard.
You never know.
we,
You never
we
know if
surely
you can try.
encourage you to do so.
Okay.
Sorry?
We encourage you to do something.
Oh, okay. But if it's bad, then I will blame you.
Oh,
Okay, we take the responsibility. That's fine. That's fine. So, what are the other questions?
have you, sir? Have you ever read Ray Bradbury?
Yes.
What do you think about his books?
I love Bradbury. He creates such an atmosphere. I had all of his books in paperback when I was a kid. I remember reading one story in particular. Not sure which one it was. Might have been Illustrated Man, but or perhaps Something Wicked This Way Comes, about a small town, a rural town, and the carnival comes to town, or the circus or something. I don't remember exactly, but it was very creepy. And he is a master at just mood, atmosphere. You can read something by him, and he can make you smell the autumn leaves and smell the breeze that he tells about. You can taste the tastes that he describes. He's a genius. I like him a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome, actually.
Would you like to maybe do voice acting on one of the Ray Bradbury books?
Yeah, that's definitely on. He's an author that's on my list of things I want to investigate. Um, he has always been, as far as I understand, he had always been very eager to share his work. People doing adaptations and of whatever kind, he almost never turned them down. So it would be interesting to see how his estate is handling his material, to see if it's a possibility, because that can be an expensive thing for a producer to record something. You have to pay for the license to record it before you record it. So he is definitely on my list of people to investigate, though.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we're just about to end. We have a couple of more questions, and well.
Well, I came up with my question too.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
right now we know a lot of things about you, voice acting books and voice acting video games. So now it's time to ask, what do you think? What is the main difference between video game voice acting and audiobooks voice acting? Is there anything?
Well, I think with audiobooks, you pretty much have everything right there. You have to do all the parts. If there's a female character, you have to do the female character's voice and make her sound distinct. You have to do all the characters, plus you have to do the telling of the story itself. With video games, I think, I don't know much about them beyond Darkest Dungeon, but from what I've observed from my small experience so far, the script, since it is a small part of the overall experience, you're trying to be appropriate to that moment, and it can be harder to know what the overall picture is as you're recording it. But a lot of credit for a successful video game narration goes to the people who came up with the concept and who wrote the script, because ultimately they They put it all together, and they make it an experience. I experienced Darkest Dungeon one sentence at a time and never saw the game in play. They took the pieces that I was able to give them and made an experience out of it. So I would say those are the main differences as far as I see from my perspective. And as you know, a video game can be more immersive to the player. It's something that they can get more direct involvement with. So I don't know if that made any sense.
Well, it made a lot of sense,
I'm just making it up over here. I don't know.
Okay.
Go on, Igor. We have last question and a couple of things to ask.
What things?
Well, for example, to finally read something. For example, as people just want, sir. People just want to hear you saying your, favorite phrases from Darkest Dungeon. So, would you please read some of them for us?
Okay.
Yeah, I just sent some of them in Skype.
Okay. Let's see what we have here. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Nice one.
Monstrous size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue. Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Oh, yes!
Yeah, that was nice. That was a really good one.
Okay, Igor, and now the last question.
And then if we do Brightest Dungeon, we could go be very bright and very happy. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Or save them all, maybe.
That's even better. That's for Brightest Dungeon.
Well, okay. Well, so I think that's it. That's maybe it, because the chat, well, maybe, yeah. I think that's a good finale. That's a good end for the stream. So, yeah. Thank you for everything, and...
Igor, you didn't ask about the tide. Please ask about the tide.
Ask about... I forgot about the tide. And the last quote, how quickly the tide turns, this thingy. Can you do another quote, this one?
Let's see. Which one?
How quickly the tide turns.
How quickly the tide turns.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yes.
That was really nice.
And sorry, it's just me again. The very last thing. We know that the tide turns, and it turns pretty quickly, but do you actually know the exact speed of the tide turning?
That's a very philosophical question.
Could you guess, please, for us?
One more time now.
Could you please guess the exact speed of the tide turning?
Is that a line from the game, or are you making it up now?
Nope. I'm just asking you to think about the question, the measure of the speed
okay.
of the tide.
So you just want me to think about it then?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Well, yeah.
Hey, I'm done now.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I think that's the time for stream to end. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Wayne.
Thank you for inviting me and giving me a chance to make believe I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, everyone. I think everyone understands what you're talking about. Okay. Всем спасибо.
Thank you for the interview a lot.
Thank you for having me, guys.